Although Pilates has been around for about 100 years, there's still confusion to this day of what exactly it is and what kind of benefits you can expect to see from this practice. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what Pilates is, what it's not, and why you may want to incorporate a Pilates practice into your own fitness routine. Hey guys, welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Noelle, and I help women create healthy, sustainable lifestyles even when life goes off the rails through my fitness studio, NRS. So if any of this sounds interesting to you or helpful, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. So for most of us, we've heard about Pilates and we kind of have a general understanding of what it is. You may even have a stunning celebrity or a dancer body woman come to mind when you hear the word. But contrary to popular marketing, Pilates is simply a core-based mind-body exercise routine. It was named for its creator, Joseph Pilates, and it was actually started, the real roots of it started during World War I while he was detained in an internment camp. And he was looking to create a system of exercises that would not only address the men's bodies, but also their mental well-being to help them and sustain them through that period of time. Spoiler alert, they all remained very healthy, and even when a flu epidemic went through the camp, his whole group remained healthy and strong, which is just a testament to the power of this method. Since then, Pilates has had many waves of popularity, whether it's been picked up in Hollywood by celebrities or in New York with its dancers. It's had several heightened moments of popularity, but it was originally designed as a baseline of movement and well-being for every single body. Joseph Pilates had a vision that this would be the basic level of movement for everyone, and it would only work to enhance your current lifestyle, including any other activities or sports that you love to do. So I'm going to go through some of the most common questions I get about Pilates as a Pilates instructor, and we're just going to kind of do this rapid fire, and hopefully if you have any of these questions, they'll be answered here. No, Pilates is not yoga. So this is a common misconception, and I think a lot of it comes in the fact that yoga and Pilates are both these mat-based practices. So you see this mat rolled out and you automatically assume there's some sort of kinship between them. And while Joseph Pilates had studied yoga, it was not necessarily that it was supposed to be a sister workout or anything like that. And they're actually very different, even down to our mats, they're different. And our breathing is different. And all of the movement that we do is very different. So yoga is an amazing practice in and of itself, but it really doesn't have anything to do with Pilates and vice versa. And no, Pilates is not a spiritual practice. So I've had this question a lot from people that are concerned about spirituality and dabbling into that and the sides of spirituality that may come up with something like a yoga practice. But Pilates was not designed to be a spiritual practice and doesn't have any spiritual or mystical elements involved in the movement themselves. So this happens a lot, and there's this confusion between mat Pilates and reformer Pilates or trapeze Pilates or wall Pilates, and there's all these different types of Pilates, but really at the end of the day, they are all just Pilates. Joseph Pilates actually started in that same internment camp, putting together what would become the apparatuses in the future by using hospital bed springs. And he would put them together and kind of made this makeshift Pilates equipment before equipment was really even a thing happening in the fitness world. And he used these as a way to increase resistance or actually improve assistance in the movement. And today we have everything from mat to reformer to the Cadillac to wall units to barrels and arcs and all these crazy pieces of apparatus that we use in Pilates. But it doesn't make or change the Pilates method. Pilates is still Pilates regardless of the apparatus that we are using. And while there may be different exercises that are performed on each one of these apparatuses, they are all essentially Pilates and all have their roots going back to Joseph Pilates' work. So it can be really confusing because there are a lot of workouts out there on YouTube, on apps, on websites, on blog posts, all over the place, even your local gym, claiming to be Pilates. But when you walk in, it's a lot more like a sweaty yoga session, or maybe it's just some gentle stretching. And it creates this confusing message of what Pilates actually is. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't really understand the original movements that were in Pilates. And so they think any sort of body weighted movement is Pilates. And essentially that's just not the case. When Joseph Pilates created his work, his original mat method was was 34 exercises. And every time you came to your mat, you repeated those 34 exercises every single time without variation and without anything changing. Now, if we fast forward to today, we have what is considered more of a contemporary approach to Pilates, where we're taking the essential underlying factors or pillars of Pilates and incorporating those into some more functional movement. So you'll see Pilates instructors teach lunges and squats and plies and these other types of movements that aren't necessarily Pilates, but they'll take the Pilates principles and incorporate that into them and create more of this expanded style of Pilates. You do not have to be flexible to take Pilates, and this is probably one of the most common questions that I get. No. Pilates will increase and improve your flexibility, but you do not have to be flexible in order to begin your Pilates work. Pilates has a way of working the movement concentrically and eccentrically, which means you're working on both sides of the movement. This has a way of balancing musculature so that we're creating strength on both sides of a movement rather than just one, which can lead to better range and better flexibility overall. No, Pilates is not just for grandma, but if grandma's doing Pilates, good on her. Pilates has gotten this reputation that it is a very gentle exercise, and it is. So having that understanding of it being a gentle exercise, a lot of people get confused with gentle exercise or low impact exercise and it being an easy exercise, and they're not the same thing. So while grandma is totally able to do Pilates and it's actually able to be modified for any of her restrictions, Pilates can actually challenge any body. So the beauty of it is that it can be modified for people that have more restriction, but it can also be amplified for people who need more challenge. This is why I love having men take Pilates, because it's never the first on their list to try, but they're always so shocked the first time they walk into a class and they experience how potent the movement actually is. And yes, because of its low impact nature, Pilates would be safe enough to perform every single day. Although I recommend about 2 to 3 times a week to see best results. Okay, so let's talk about those results or those benefits that Pilates provides. And why would you maybe want to incorporate Pilates into your own fitness routine? So increased muscle strength, improve control and balance, improve basal metabolic rate. It's great for rehabilitation or injury recovery, and improves sense of overall well-being. It decreases stress hormones like cortisol. It improves concentration and focus. It improves posture and breathing capacity. It improves oxygenation in the bloodstream. It increases relaxation. It encourages nervous system regulation. And it's low impact, so it's safe and gentle on your joints. And there's so many more benefits and individual benefits that people experience every time they come to their mat or to their apparatus and they move through the Pilates work. And these are actually just some of the reasons why I've chosen to teach this method in my online studio. So in my opinion, I don't think there's a better modality than Pilates out there to help women calm and regulate their nervous system, decrease those stress hormones that are oftentimes wreaking havoc in our bodies and creating a lot of mental health stress, and build strength and muscle tone in their bodies, improving their metabolic rate and overall body composition over time. Plus, the kicker for me is the fact that you can access those kinds of results in 30 minutes or less on your mat in your own home at a very low, affordable cost to you. It makes coming back to your mat so much easier, and it eliminates those hurdles to prioritizing your health and your well-being. I know for me and for my clients, every single time we walk away from our mat, we are experiencing the results and the benefits immediately in our bodies and our minds. And that is why we keep coming back to this method. But if you're just beginning and you're not really sure where to get started with Pilates, I would love to invite you to come and check out my studio. Go ahead and try out the classes for a week for free. Take them, come to your mat, move your body with me, and just see how incredibly powerful this method actually is for yourself. I've left the link below for you so you can go ahead and snag that free trial for yourself and start trying this work in your body today. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, first of all, thank you so much for joining me for this video and having this little chat. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. And if you have others, always be sure to drop those in the comments below so I can answer them. But would you go ahead and drop this little emoji down below for me so that I can say hello to you personally? And I want to hear your stories. What was your first exposure to Pilates? The good, the bad, the ugly? Have you tried the method for yourself? Have you done any of the apparatus work? I want to hear all the details. It's always my favorite to sit down and hear how other people were exposed to this method that I love so much. So drop those stories for me below. I'd love to hear them, and I'd love to connect with you over those. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time.